Hi Pre-Algebra students, it's Miss Carol, and in this video I would like to chat about checkpoints. Checkpoints I feel are kind of a unique monster, especially in your math courses, and I think it would really help you to get an idea of kind of what to look for and how to best complete your checkpoints. One thing I want you to know is that your checkpoints are worth 30% of your final grade. So it's really, really critical that you do well on your checkpoints. And the good news is that you have up to 3 attempts to do well. And in fact, if you need it, I can give you more attempts, but the system automatically gives you 3. So first off, one thing I want to make you aware of, and if you watched the previous video on navigating the course, you'll know that I have put in many supplemental videos in the class, or links to supplemental videos. And I do that because this class doesn't have many in and of itself, the curriculum that it comes with. And I do think that seeing some math being worked for you is an important part of your learning. And I would suggest that you continue to take notes and use those videos as you need them. If you can get through the learn sections and you don't need the videos, that's totally fine. But if you get up to the checkpoint and you get through the checkpoint one time and you're confused and you feel like you need more instruction, I have relisted all of the videos that are in the Learn section back into the checkpoint teacher notes. So they're all here again. You do not have to watch all of them. Just watch what you need. And if you need to watch all of them, you certainly can. Most are anywhere between 3 and 8 minutes long. Okay, the other thing that I want to make you aware of, because you have 3 attempts, I think the strategy that I would like to recommend is that you take the checkpoint. If you do well, great, then you move on. If you don't do as well as you would like, you take it again after reviewing some videos and going back through the Learn section. Okay, so give yourself a chance to do better. And then if you still don't do better on that second attempt, prior to your third attempt, what I would like you to do is fill out this math help request form that I have posted in the teacher notes at each checkpoint in the course. Okay, this math help request form will give you an opportunity to meet with me. What you'll do is you'll fill it out. I'll find a time that works for both of us, and I will schedule a math help session where we'll meet in a Google Hangout and we'll review your checkpoint questions. And I have found this to be a really great strategy with all my math classes so far. So please know that as I work with you, though, I will push back to ensure that you did go through those Learn sections and take notes and work through the practice problems, because I do feel that that's really important, and you being in charge of your learning instead of me directing your learning will ultimately be more successful for you. But I am definitely here to help you, and I'm happy to do so. I love working through math problems. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and tackle these checkpoints. Again, they're worth 30% of your grade. And one of the things that I have noticed is that checkpoints require a very high level of reading. And so the math can be difficult, but the making sure that you're reading the questions correctly is as or more difficult, I think, than the actual math. So please be aware of reading the questions, ensuring you understand what they're asking, and then ensuring that you're putting the answer in the format that they are looking for. So let's look at this first question. Is 12 a rational number? Why or why not? Okay, so then very carefully, I have to read the rest of this. It says, choose the answer that has both the correct answer and the correct reason. Well, I know that 12 is a rational number, so I can, right off the bat, eliminate the 2 no's here, okay? And just to kind of as a side note, I am going to do this checkpoint for you, but your questions might not be the same questions, so don't assume that they are. Flip Switch or StrongMind has a bank of questions that they pull from. So if you do end up with the same or some of the same questions, great. If not, make sure that you're realizing that they might be different questions, okay? Okay, so now that I'm looking, now I know it's a yes, and I need to look between the two yes answers and see which one is correct. So this bottom one, 12, is a rational number because it can't be written as a decimal. Actually, any whole number can be written as a decimal. It can be written as 12.0 repeating. So, and I know that repeating decimals are rational numbers. So this one is incorrect, and our correct answer is right here. Okay, so I have both the correct answer and the correct reason. Okay, question 2. This one's kind of funny. There's actually a mistake. So this will be a good learning opportunity for another reason. All right, they want us to follow these steps that Gabriel took to convert negative 0.08 into a fraction, okay? And then we're going to see if he made any mistakes. So let's go ahead and do that. So negative 0.08 equals negative 8 over 100. Well, our last digit is in the 100th place, so that totally makes sense that we put 8 over 100, okay? And we keep it as a negative. That's very important. All right, next step. Well, I know that 8 over 100 can be reduced, and both numbers can be divided by 4. So if I factor them out, 8 equals 2 times 4, and 100 equals 25 times 4. The 4's cancel out, and we're left, they're missing a little equal sign, we're left with a negative 2 over 25. Okay, then I look at this third step, and look what happened. They dropped a negative. So I think, my guess is that he actually made a mistake in step 3 by dropping that negative. And so our choices here are that he didn't make any mistakes. In step 3, he should have subtracted 2/5 from 8, or 2/25 from 8 100ths, since the 8 100ths is negative. No, not, those two were equivalent fractions, so that doesn't make sense. He shouldn't have divided by 10 because our last digit was in the 100th place, so the third one doesn't make sense. And then here it says step 2, he should have divided by 2 instead of 4. Well, if he would have divided by 2 instead of 4, he would have had 4 over 50, and he would have had to divide one more time by 2. So I actually feel that none of these answers are right, and this is a possibility. And in this case, what you should do is go ahead and answer it so that you can move on, but then take a screenshot and say, hey, Miss Carol, I don't think any of these are right. You can take the screenshot, email it to me, and say, can you please look at this, because I don't think any of these questions are right. And when you do that, I will look, and if I agree with you, I will submit a tech ticket and see if we can get the curriculum designers to fix this problem. And if I disagree, I will write back and explain why. So in this case, I'm going to submit a tech ticket because I think we have an error. So this is a good learning opportunity to let you know that course errors do happen. Okay, next problem, we want to write 0.68 as a fraction in simplest form. All right, again, we are going to divide by 100 because our last digit is in the 100th place, so we're at 68 over 100. And I know that 4 is a factor of both of those, so I'm going to factor that out. I'm going to say 4 times 17 over 4 times 25. All right, the 4's will cancel out, and I'm left with 17/25. This one wasn't too bad. All right, so our answer here, 17/25. All right, question 4, write negative 0.450 as a fraction in simplest form. So our last digit here is in the 1000th place, actually. It's a 0, so we're going to be able to get rid of it, but let's use it for now. I've got negative 0.450 equals negative 450 over 1000. And since I have zeros at the end, I can cancel those out, and I'm left with negative 45 over 100. All right, I can reduce this further because both 45 and 100 have a factor of 9. So I'm going to factor that out 9 times 5, and again, we're still negative, over 20 times 5. 5s are going to cancel out, and I'm left with negative 9 over 20. Here's how I wrote that, and here's how they told me to write it. So again, paying attention to the directions will go a long, long way here. All right, the next question goes as such. Murphy was asked to convert negative 0.14 repeating into a fraction, and the following shows his work. X equals negative 0.14. So he's setting x equal to negative 0.14 repeating. Now, this is a technique that hopefully you learned in the Learn sections. And we're going to, because our last digit here is in the hundredths place, Murphy goes ahead and he multiplies both sides of this equation by 100. Okay, and he does a good job. He's got 100x equals negative 14.14 repeating. Okay, so he's got that in step 3. And then the thing that he should be doing is subtracting this equation from this equation. Okay, subtracting x equals negative 0.14 from 100x equals negative 14.14. And if he does that, if he were to take a negative through here, he'd have a negative x, but he'd have a positive 0.14 if he were to distribute that through, okay? And I think what we should have here is an equal sign right here, okay? And so I think that that's where our little, there's an error here, but I don't think that that was an intentional error. All right, so when I do that, I get 99x, okay, 100x minus x equals 14, and I get rid of those repeating decimals. That's a really, really cool tool to be able to get rid of that. And then I go ahead, I scroll down, I get 99x equals negative 14. I divide both sides by 99. These are all correct steps. And then I get a x equals a negative 14 over 99. Now, we can go ahead and check that. If I divide negative 14 by 99, I do get negative 0.14 repeating. Okay, so other than they missed an equal sign, which is something that I might submit as a tech ticket, I don't actually see any mistakes here. I think his work is correct. Okay, but let's just check. He should have divided by both sides by 14. No, that's not true. He should have subtracted 0.14 instead of negative 0.14. Nope, he had to subtract a negative. So that was right. He should have multiplied both sides by 10 instead of 100. No, actually, because our last digit was in the hundredths place, he did need to multiply by 100 instead of 10. Okay, so I'm feeling pretty confident. One thing that I do, even if I feel like I know that that answer is right, that Murphy didn't make any mistakes, I go ahead and check all the answers just in case. All right, so I feel like I've shown you quite a few things that you can take away from discussions. You need to read very, very carefully. Excuse me. These are your takeaway for checkpoints. Read very carefully. Try all the answers, okay? Oftentimes you can work backwards from the answers to the question, and that'll help you. But I think my advice is to just really pay attention and to ensure that you're putting the answer in the format that they're looking for. And as always, those help request forms are in the checkpoint teacher notes, and I am more than happy to review any questions with you. So please utilize that. Thank you for listening, and I will look forward to excellent checkpoint work. Take care.